What's up, guys? This is Adam from esportsheaven.com, and I am here with one of the greatest smashers of all time from Europe, Amsah. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm having a lot of fun. We play teams. So far, so good.
All right, so you obviously, like you said, you did singles, teams. Walk me through your matches. Is there anything like tough matches? Anything startled you? Anything important?
Well, in singles, everything went okay. I just won all my matches and wasn't really that much of a surprise. But in teams, yeah, we played Axe and Darkness of Heart, I think, and they beat us. So that was a little bit disappointing, but we learn and we'll just continue.
Okay. So how are you feeling for the rest of the tournament? You feel like you can still go far? As I recall, you might have some pretty tough brackets ahead.
The bracket is tough no matter where you are. So. But we're going to try and make the best of it, basically. I think we can, if we play well, we can pretty much make top 3. But if we don't, then we'll lose. So we'll see what happens.
Right. So if I'm not mistaken, this is your first time in America for a while. Like, when was the last time you were here?
Last time I was here was Apex 2012.
Oh, wow.
So it's been 4 years.
Yeah. So what's it been like to come back after so long?
I am super happy. When I saw the compendium made it, I was stoked pretty much. So I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah. We don't see you nearly enough, man. We see the Swedes. We even see Professor Pro and Ice a lot, but we don't see you a lot. Is it just you're really busy, or what exactly is going on with that?
I quit for a long time. Right. From 2012 to, I think my first tournament was somewhere at the end of 2014 again. So, yeah, I figured I want to get a little bit better before I start traveling again.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't actually going to come here, but then the compendium happened. I was like, yeah, I'm not missing this. So.
Okay, so it's not even a fact that like you can't travel for this or that. It's just that you want to get your skill up to a level where you feel like it's whatever level you feel it should be, I guess.
Yeah, I don't want to come here just to get wrecked. Right. If I travel this far, I want to at least be somewhat of a threat to people here. So.
Okay, so what made you come back to the game if you retired? What made you retire in the first place, and what brought you back, I guess?
I had health issues. So I couldn't really play or travel or do much. I was just focusing on getting better. And it got a little bit better. So now I can travel again. It's like, okay, I'll pick it up again, see what happens. And because I saw, like, the scene kind of exploded with, like, this, with streaming and all kinds of tournaments. Like, we didn't have it. We had, like, 1 or 2 tournaments every year. And starting last summer, we've had one every 2 weeks, I think. So I figured, well, now's as good a time as any to just start picking it up again.
Oh yeah, completely. Now, in your absence, a lot of European players have gotten better, or they've improved, and they kind of like took your spot. Remember, you were at the top at one point. Is it tough to see? Like, is that a tough pill to swallow, knowing that you were the best, and then now you're not?
A little bit, but no. You know what happened? Basically, in 2008, I quit for a year, and when I came back, Armada was ridiculously good. And since the scene wasn't really growing, I kind of made peace with the fact that he was my successor. And that's why I didn't play. And the gap kept growing and growing and growing. And yeah, so I didn't really mind. I didn't play. If you don't play, you don't deserve to be at the top. So I am where I should be right now. But I'm aiming to climb that ladder again.
Oh, okay. So you do have that ambition. Is it #1 in Europe again? #1 in the world? What do you feel like?
Okay. As soon as I feel that I'm good enough for me, then it doesn't matter where I am. But for now, I can see certain things in the game that I should be able to capitalize on, but just the muscle memory is not there yet. So I think in a year from now, I'll see where I stand, and I think that's pretty much my skill level back then.
Okay, as you said, you want to get to the top, you want to improve. How would you say your 2015 was overall? Were you happy with your results? Were you disappointed? Is there things that you were like, I definitely should have done this or done that, maybe applied this tech earlier, stuff like that?
I should have learned how to shield drop a lot earlier.
Everyone's been saying that. You're like the third person I talked to that's like, yeah, I incorporate shield dropping, and then like it's everything, man. And it's like 10 times better skill.
Yeah, no, it's really stupid. Like if you think about it, I underestimated how good shield dropping was. It's a fundamental tactic, like wave dashing, L canceling, because it gives you offensive and defensive move options. And I just always thought it was way too hard for me to learn because I tried it in game and I just spot dodged all over the place. But one day I decided, you know what, I'm going to learn it. And I tried it for like 15 minutes and I mastered it. So I was like, I should have done this like 3 years ago. but I didn't. So that's my one regret. Everything else has been good.
Okay. So, given, I guess, your rate of improvement, what do you feel like is going to happen in 2016? Do you have specific goals? Is it like there's someone ahead that is there like a bounty that you want to get, something like that?
Yeah, for now I'm aiming at my good friend Ice, pretty much, who's solid number 3. I think right now I'm I think 5th or something along those lines. Yeah, and there are a lot of people on that skill level, like me, Prof, Sugeto. You have Android, you have Tech, and a bunch of other people that are around. Yeah. And then over exactly Triphasia, Reaper. There are a bunch of people on that skill level, and I just want to improve so that I'm one tier higher than that. So that's my goal for now.
Yeah. Now that it's good that you mentioned that, because before listen, back then it was really you and like then we got Armada. There really wasn't that many rumblings of European Smash at all, and now we're seeing a lot more players. Do you think that it's just going to get bigger and bigger, and we're just going to see more and more international threats, or do you feel like there still needs to be work done in Europe in order to, I guess, get to the level of the United States, or even just certain regions in the United States?
Yeah, compared to the US, the European scene is really, really small, pretty much. We don't... You guys have, let's say, in this area, you have Xanadu, which is a weekly with a cap of 128 people.
Yes.
That's the biggest tournament in Holland.
Really?
To give you an idea of what it's like. And for us, it's not a weekly, it's every 2 months or so. So we really have to grow as a scene. Like, we can't even host weeklies because people wouldn't show up, pretty much. So... But with the exposure of, well, ever since the documentary, we've been growing pretty much. So if we have more tournaments and more advertising, I guess, we will continue growing. So
the general state of, yeah, for sure. So the state of European Smash in general, you're happy with it, but it just needs improvement in a few certain areas.
Yeah, it's not nearly as big as it is here, but we're getting there, I think.
Okay. Now, specifically, as you said, in Holland or Netherlands, whichever our viewers want to say, do you feel like there are certain players that we should be looking out for?
Well, you already know Yapi. You know Zagetto, you know me, you know Adam. So that's basically still the top, so there's no one else.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think it's really interesting, now that you come over here, right, and you've been playing against the Americans, do you think that there's a distinct difference in playstyle between the Europeans and the Americans that you can actually notice in-game or even when you're watching?
Everybody here is really consistent, I should say. Like, we don't play as much, so we need time to warm up. But I have a feeling that nobody here warms up. You're like, oh, I need a hand warmer, and then they're good to go because you play a lot. So I think that's the major difference. Like, you can't sleep on anyone because they'll bring their A game, whereas we have to, like, if I play a tournament, like, the first few games, I'm horrible. Then the second set, I'm a little bit better. And by the time I get to winners finals, I'm completely warmed up. But I get a feeling that people here are just ready to shift it to 5th gear and just blast off immediately. So it's just consistency mostly.
Oh, I see. It's always interesting, like I said, to hear what other people who come from other countries have to say about the American playstyle, I guess.
In teams, I noticed the difference, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In teams, people here are the most campy I've ever seen. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. No, I'm serious. Like, basically, when we play teams, most teams in Europe, they try to 2v1 someone, just get them in the middle and just gang them up, like Armada and Android do. But everybody we've played, especially if they're spaceys, one spacey's on the left side below the platform just shooting lasers, and the other one is on the right side shooting lasers. And when you run towards one of them, they run to the top platform and start. They just run away the whole time. It's absolutely ridiculous. But that's the major difference, I think. It's just a really defense-oriented playstyle, I should say.
You're the first person that's ever said that, so I'm it's an interesting observation that I'm just like kind of trying to process right now. Anyway, so obviously Europe is getting bigger, Smash is getting bigger. Where do you see yourself? I've been asking this to everyone. Where do you see yourself in the grand scheme of things? Is this something you want to make a full-time thing? Are you looking for sponsorship? Are you, as you said, you're trying to get better, but is this you want to go full esports, full Smash, or do you feel like, you know, this is just a side thing and I'll still have my career or something like that?
For now, it's a side thing. Basically, I have an apartment, I have rent to pay, so I need to work, and I have a full-time job. If you work 40 hours, it's kind of hard to put in work for Smash. And like I said, there aren't that many tournaments in Europe, so you can't really make that much money. If there was a weekly like Xanadu and a bunch of tournaments in the area, I would probably focus on Smash because then I could actually make a lot of money. But for now, I can't support myself just playing Smash, so it's a hobby until I get to a point where I think I can be a threat to people.
Yeah. Have you been reaching out to sponsors, or have you gotten offers and had to reject them for whatever reason?
I had a sponsor, but not anymore. And I've had one offer that I rejected because I didn't like it. But after that, no one else, sadly. So, Mr. Sponsors, if you're looking to sponsor like a European player, I'm your man. Let's go.
I mean, you are one of the top European players, so I really do hope that you get sponsored. I'm pretty sure the top 4 are sponsored, so it's only natural. You're the next one in line, right? Let's let's hope so. So I'm not sure if this really applies. This might be an unconventional question. I've always heard that in Europe, playing games like, I won't say professionally, but like at that level, at a high level, has always been more accepted than it is in the United States. Do you feel like you can comment on that maybe?
Is it not accepted over here?
Well, there's always I would like to say there's a social stigma.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's a stigma where we are. At least I never experienced it. Right. Every single time I tell people like I play a game professionally, generally the reaction is, "Wow, that's awesome. Tell me about it." Instead of, "Wow, you're a gamer, really?" So
That's always nice.
yeah, there's no stigma as far as I know.
I can't tell you how many times I've like told people about like esports and like, I don't know, man, that sounds kind of that doesn't sound right or something like that. Yeah, you'd be surprised, but esports is blowing up as I said, so that's hopefully gonna be a change. Now, there has been that documentary, like you said. Do you feel like there should be maybe a European Smash documentary or something like that?
That would be awesome, I think, because there's a lot of European history that nobody knows about, except the Europeans, pretty much.
Basically.
So I think if there was actually a documentary for us, it would be one interesting for just players in general, but it might actually boost our scene as well, like even more than the original one did, because it contains pretty much European players.
Right.
It would be interesting.
I would definitely watch it. It's like I said, whenever there's lost history, especially like back then, because as you said, only the people who were there actually know what happened. There was there's no recordings and stuff like that. So I think that highlighting that and showing the world what actually happened would be completely fantastic. But shifting actually into the game, right? You know, you're a Chic main, and there has been a lot of talk. I want to say like that she's a bad character, but there's been people who've just been complaining. How do you feel Chic matches up in the current metagame against all the other top tiers or even the mid tiers?
It depends entirely on what game we're talking about. If it's PAL, it's entirely different than NT. I think in NTSC she's a decent character and can handle pretty much everyone except Ice Climbers.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I think about it in this version. She has the tools to deal with everything. Like even like Fox is difficult, but you can tech chase him to death on reaction. Right. Falco's difficult, but you can tech chase him to death. Falcon's difficult, but you can tech chase him to death. Like it's the same story for every single character. Right. And all the floaties, you have much better movement options than they do. So if you utilize those perfectly, you're fine. The only one that's difficult is ICs.
Okay. Now, having said that, you are in for an exhibition tonight, one that is very storied, as you two share the same name except for one letter. It is, I'm not quite sure how hyped it is, but it's a Yoshi versus Chic match, which is, let's be honest, we don't see that a lot. How are you feeling about that match? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Because do you play that many Yoshis? Like, you know, how do you feel?
Well, I never really play Yoshis, so in that sense, I'm just jumping in blind. Right. So we'll see what happens in that case, but I am excited for it. I've never met someone that has the same name as me in real life ever, so to actually run into a Smasher that has my name is weird in and of itself. But for him to be good enough for people to forget me, kind of hurts. So I kind of want to take my name back. So I'm going to try and actually win. I'm considering chain grabbing him, but I probably won't because I have pride. But well, so we'll see. It'll be a lot of fun, I'm sure. I just hope I don't have to change my Twitter. You know what my Twitter handle is, right? No, it's @TheRealAmsah. So if I lose, I'll be like Budget Amsah or Buster Amsah or not the real Amsah. I don't know. I might have to change it. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Let's hope that like one of you doesn't have to change their name just because they lose the match or something.
But you know what it is? It's his nickname, but it's my real name. So I might actually have to change my ID. That would suck. I don't want to do that.
Hey, what's your name? I would say Amsah, but I'm not allowed to anymore.
Yeah, it's like not Amsah anymore. That's it. It's my full name.
I lost it in a play.
That's my new name.
I lost it playing a video game. I'm sorry.
Oh, that would be awful. Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah. Obviously, it's gonna be a great match. I think that that was one of the most exciting things that was on the Smash UG. Because I mean, like, listen, we all get like, oh, let's do another crew battle. Oh, that's another pop bonus. Great. But seeing such an exhibition, especially when we don't see Amsah that much, you know, or you too. This is your first time. You don't see either Amsah that much. You know, it's just really good to see.
You know what I'm looking forward to the most?
What?
Seeing the video with commentary.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be the.
It's gonna be super confusing. I don't know how they're gonna handle it. They might just say Chic and Yoshi, because if you say Amsah, it's just great DI by Amsah. Oh, good comment. No, it's just confusing.
And
Amsah just won. What?
Amsah misses that stock. Amsah wins that 3-2.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, speaking of that, is it a best of 5 or best of 3, first of 5? What is it?
Absolutely no idea.
Do you think the longer the set will go, the better it is for you, so you can adapt, or you think the shorter the set, maybe it'll be better?
I think the longer the set, the more it favors me, simply because my character's better. He has to rely on more gimmicky stuff, so if I have time to adapt to that, it will be in my favor, I think. Unless he's 10 times better than I think he is, which might be the case, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, no one really plays Yoshi, so it's really hard to get that practice. I'm struggling to. There's one thing I remember I really wanted to ask you. Oh yeah. Now I remember. So obviously we've been talking a lot about in the game. Who is Amsah outside the game? Like, we can talk about Smash all day, but what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? Like, let's let the fans know what you do on the outside.
That's a good question. I like music. I like sports. I like playing football, but I can't because I'm injured. I like going to the gym, but I can't because I'm injured. So yeah, injury's been the name of the game for me. But yeah, I like watching movies, anime. I'm just a normal person. It's not much I do, I guess. Yeah. I like Smash mostly. That's my hobby. It's my one like guilty pleasure, I guess.
Seems to be the common theme among the people I've been interviewing. But Smash is beautiful, man. Now, I asked you this earlier. This might be a controversial question, but did you watch Batman v Superman?
Did I watch what?
Batman versus Superman?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I heard it's terrible.
I was about to ask you about it since you said you watched.
Terrible. It's terrible.
Like, but when I asked you, he was just like, I don't want to talk about it.
See, I was gonna go to it, but everybody said it's horrible. So I'm like, do I want to waste money on this? Yeah. I don't know. I might just skip out on that one. I don't know.
All right, man. Honestly, I can't really think of anything else to say. Are there any shout-outs you want to give, words you want to say to your fans? How can your fans follow you? Maybe throw in that pitch to that potential sponsor, whatever you want to do.
Well, I already pitched the thing to the sponsor, but I'll say it again. If there's anyone that wants to sponsor a top European player, I'm the best one that doesn't have a sponsor yet. So just hit me up on Twitter or something, @TheRealAmsah. Follow me, tweet at me, do something, and maybe I'll tweet back. We'll see.
And all right, guys, that's it. Stay tuned to esportsheaven.com for more coverage of Pound 2016. We'll see you.